Welcome to another episode of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? I'm Karen E. Osborne, author of Getting It Right and my newest murder mystery and finalist, best thriller finalist, Tangled Lies, that came out in July. And my new book comes out in June. And today I have a really special guest because this is my publisher. We love him. So his name is Reagan Rothe, and he is a writer and a podcaster and an owner, publisher, man extraordinaire. Welcome, Reagan.
Thank you. I'm very excited to chat with you.
Thanks. I'm so glad that you could join us. So let's start with an origin story. Let's go back in time when you were a kid, and I know you have young children too, don't you?
Yes, I have a daughter who just turned 8 and a son who will turn 5 tomorrow.
So thinking about both your own childhood when you were a kid, what kind of reader were you back then, and how does that affect both what you read today and what you offer your children to read today?
Yes, I was an avid reader. I can't remember, obviously I can see from the books that I had on shelves and the books that, that stayed, the Treasure Island and all those books, but those were obviously, Hank the Cowdog, but those were later readers. So I don't necessarily remember, what I might have taken in, like my kids are the early parents reading their kids and like the picture books. But I know I quickly evolved into just reading lots of I tried to read a lot of the classics. They used to have the little square books, they were like this, they were like 3 inches by 3 inches.
Yeah.
And just all the little Prince and the Pauper and all those little classic books in those. And so I read a lot of those, and then then I moved on to reading a lot of Tolkien, all of his stuff, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, a lot of fantasy stuff. And then once I kind of got old enough to start reading Stephen King, I kind of read, I pretty much covered all of his catalog before I even went to anything else, when I was, probably in junior high and high school and stuff. So that's kind of my early inspirations.
Do you see that reflected in your children's interests yet?
I think a little bit. I think they're both well rounded, and that you don't have to just read one genre, or you don't have to cater towards books that are, I guess, tried to be slanted towards boys or girls. I kind of I think it's great to be able to just read anything. If it's good, it's good.
If it's good, it's good. That's exactly right. My 10-year-old grandson, I have one 15 and one 10 and one 2. And the 10-year-old loves graphic novels. And his teacher told me, she said, I know you supply him with a tremendous amount of books, but you need to broaden his horizons. He needs to read other things. So that's true for all of us as readers, isn't it? That we should broaden our horizons. So let's talk. And then one other origin story I'm interested in, and then I want to talk about your latest, your writing in general, and then your latest cool thing that you're doing now. But back to origin stories. So how did you go from reading and writing to I should become a publisher?
Just through my own experiences as an author. I think, taking pieces of what I thought could be improved, and what I would prefer in terms of maybe, I think trying to create more of a family-like atmosphere, trying to be more direct with authors. It just that transparency of, as a fellow author, I was okay doing stuff. I just needed to know, just tell me, no, you're not going to do it, and I'll do it, or at least make the decision quickly versus giving me a political answer. Yeah, so just clear. And so just on that, when I first started, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do just strictly publishing, or if I wanted to do more of editing, or if I just wanted to be a literary agent. And so I kind of went in with all of that in mind. And then as I went, and as obviously the conflict of interest on all of them, I started leaning towards the book publishing and did that part time for about 2.5 years, and then
Mm.
was able to look at that data and then make the decision that we can do this full time. And in 2009, we went full time, and we've grown financially every year since then. So.
Well, as one of your authors, I must say everything you just said about transparency and being in touch with your authors and being responsive and all of that is true. You guys are great. They're great. So here you are publishing and reading lots of other people's stuff, and then you started writing again, or did you write before and stop, or kind of what's that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote before. I've really only published one novel since I started Black Rose writing, and that was very early. I mean, that was like 2011. I did do a couple of children's books that I kind of had ideas and just needed some illustrations for. But I haven't really written anything in terms of novella or novel length in quite a while. And I started a dystopia kind of a post-apocalyptic series. That's the big concept. And so the little concept is I just was kind of messing around with it, got in a groove. I kind of write in spurts. I'm not a very good disciplined writer. I write a lot, and then I don't write for a long period. I get stuck and I don't like where I'm going. And then it just takes, either watching a movie or reading a book or talking to someone, it, triggers that I know what I need to do with this. And so right now I am Kindle Vella is a wonderful thing. I think Amazon launched it, and I decided to give it a try, and I thought it might motivate me to keep writing. And so far the feedback has been so great, almost overwhelming, that it's almost forced me to write more, but I haven't written any more yet. So we're on episode 6, just came out yesterday.
Yes.
I have 7 in editing, and then I think if you really are a serious fan, I think you're gonna be upset because it comes to an abrupt halt at the end of number 7, as the writing juices haven't picked up yet. So
Oh no.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a fan. What are you telling me?
You got two more. I don't know if you read yesterday's,
I
but
didn't, not
then
yet.
you got that one, and then there's one more, and then I'm gonna have to figure out what comes next.
So you're not a plotter. You don't think through the whole story. What do they
Uh,
call them? Pantsers versus plotters?
Not usually. I do have like the epilogue written,
Oh, okay.
or a epilogue, wherever it kind of gets. And I do have scenes written from like maybe 20 chapters down the road or 5 chapters down the road. And so I do have some things written ahead. When I think of stuff, I'll write it sometimes. But in terms of continuing right where the story's at, kind of working on that. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from the readers. Uh, I think the biggest one, or at least the most common one, was uh, our protagonist needs a companion, like just something, either human or dog or
Dog or
something,
some
because they're like, it gets, obviously post-apocalyptic, and a solo character can get really depressing and kind of just too gritty. And so having, getting that dialogue and some kind of interaction can really help that.
actually, that's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah,
Giving him a companion. It could even be like a wolf
yeah.
dog or something. Doesn't he run into a wolf dog at some point? Or some kind
The
of an animal?
mountain lion, yeah.
Mountain lion,
Yeah,
yes. Maybe that could be his friend.
yeah, yeah. No, that was an epic struggle. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, I've been enjoying it very much, and the new episodes come out every Sunday, except evidently, but
They
you can
run
go back.
dry.
You can go back and
Yes,
you can read all the way up to, and then you can write Reagan and tell him what you think should happen next. You can tell him, get his juices going.
that's it. Dictate the story.
One of the things we like to do is to provide our viewers with recommendations. And I know that you would recommend every one of your writers' books, but you can't do that. So if there's some other books that that are not being published by Black Rose Writing that you could recommend.
For sure. Probably, I would say, like, I mean, everybody has all these favorite authors, so I always say new favorite author.
Yeah.
My new favorite author is Joe Abercrombie. So if you're a fan of, he just finished off the last trilogy in a world that has 9 books. There's a first trilogy, there's 3 standalone, and then there's a second trilogy, which is basically the children of everyone in the first trilogy. And it's a very epic fantasy, world building, and he writes really great battles and really good humor in there. I mean, they're dark and it's just real gritty. It's just my style, and so I just finished that one. The last one released in September, and I read it in about a week or two, and so that's done. So Joe Abercrombie's one. I'm also a big CJ Tudor fan. If you like kind of those suspense thrillers, I read one of hers I think on a Stephen King recommendation, and then I've read all of her stuff. And then I am unfortunately still a George R. R. Martin, waiting on the next book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm not the most, I haven't suffered the most, but I have suffered a long time. I got in on about book 4. So I, right before book 4, I think, came out, before HBO even put an episode out, that's when I was in.
Okay.
So I was before the HBO fans, and yeah, so I suffered through the 5-year and then the 7-year, and the saddest part was when you wait 5 or 7 years. Is I waited for A Dance of Dragons, which is book 5, for so long, and then I ended up reading it's 1,000, I don't know what it is, 1,000 or 1,200 pages. I think I read it in like 8 days. So like, it's like you wait 5 to 7 years, and then you're done in 8 days, and it's like, now what do I do?
Now you gotta wait another 5 years.
Now we're on a 10 or 11 years. I don't even know what the number is, but I've lost track. But yeah, it's been a while. So
yes, that's one of the beauties of series and one of the downsides of series.
yes, it's always fun to accidentally come into a series when like the last book has been released, and then you have this whole binge reading already set up.
I like finding TV shows like that too, HBO
Yes.
and Netflix shows. And someone says, "Oh, but have you been watching Battlestar Galactica?" No. And then I go back from the beginning and I can watch the whole thing. And it's like, oh, what a joy.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, indeed. Well, this has been a lovely conversation. I thank you so much. But how can our viewers find out not only more about Black Rose Writing, but more about you personally and the book that you have on Amazon right now?
Right. You can email me at creator@blackrosewriting.com, which is our Black Rose email. You can reach out to me on my personal email, which is Rothe, my last name. So ROTHE, and then books@gmail.com. And yeah, check out Blood Groove. It's a dystopian series, and it's on Kindle Vella. If you're a US reader, you can read the first 3 episodes for free on there. And then for international readers, if you really want to read it, then send me an email and I'll send it to you.
Oh, cool. I do have international viewers. I have a bunch of friends and followers in Australia.
That's awesome. I was so disappointed. I didn't know when I first sent out like the first announcement, I had Canadian and UK readers saying I can't get it. And so then I went and researched. I was like, I didn't know a ton about Vella yet. And then I was like, well, you're right. It's only for US readers. So hopefully they get that updated soon.
Yeah. So, hey, Australian friends, just write Reagan and he will send you the first chapters, first 3, right?
Yes, for sure. At least, maybe even more. Yeah.
Maybe even more. Well, thank you so much. And thank all of you for joining us today. As you know, you can find me at KarenEosborne.com. You can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and on my Facebook author page. And I'm so glad that you joined us again. And I look forward to seeing you next time for What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing?